Welcome to another episode of UCRD Reviews. So today we have the Mobile Suit Gundam, the 08MS Team Option Parts Set 2 version anime. So just like the first set, this doesn't have any figures in it, it's just parts. The first one was very weapon focused. This one is more focused on interchanging parts to make unique mobile suits, as well as it comes with 2 vehicles, which is really cool. And being a regular release, it should be fairly easy to obtain. It's not that expensive. So this is a really cool idea. I love it when Robot Spirits does stuff like this. And, you know, it helps to transform some of your figures. It got me to buy 3 different Ground Gundams for this reason. And, I mean, I think everybody wants an updated hover truck. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and take a look at it. So just like the last option parts review, we're going to take a look at everything out of the box, how it works or how it fits onto the figure, and then we'll take a look at everything with the figures posed later in the review. So let's go ahead and start up in this corner here with probably the least interesting part. We're going to use this to get it out of here. If I can. It really doesn't want to come out. There we go. Alright, so very first part we get here is actually just a gray V-fin antenna. So this one just replaces the V-fin antenna that's already on the figure, and you always want to be careful with it, of course. And this one does not come with a replacement, which is unfortunate. And of course I'm just throwing it all around. Let's see, I don't think that quite went on. So these are not the easiest to replace. There we go. So, looks a little bit different. This actually is meant to recreate Sanders' Ground Gundam from the Gouf Custom fight. I think it was just an animation error that they didn't fill this in for that episode. You know, I thought initially maybe it was to differentiate Sanders' Ground Gundam from the rest of them, but that really wasn't necessary in the Gouf Custom fight, because Karen's had the GM head and Shiro had the Easy 8, so I think it was just an animation error, and they made a part to reflect that. So speaking of Karen's GM head, we have this piece over here, which will hopefully be easier to get out. So we saw in the GM Ground review that the head of it can be placed onto a Ground Gundam, but the more cost-effective option is to actually just get this set instead of buying a whole new Ground Gundam. It is identical to the one that comes with the regular figure, and all you do, just like we saw in the Ground GM review, is pop the old head off and put this new one on there, which is really loose. Very, very, very loose. Why is it like that? Mine is just super, super loose, which is interesting. So it would be nice, but it is all over the place. Yep, I tried to see if it was maybe not in there right, but no, it's in there right. It's just super, super loose for some reason. The head just bobbles all around. So looks great. Would have liked to not have had it do that, but so there's our first problem with the set. You also get 2 of these shield pieces. So later on in the series, they actually had these like armor plates on the shields, and so you can recreate that, and it comes with 2 of them. And then speaking on Karen's GM head again, we actually got a figure of this in the MSiA line. It came with a parachute pack, which was pretty cool, and now you can make it just out of this set. So I like that it didn't have to be a whole new figure, although you had to buy a new Ground Gundam figure anyway to make it, but I like that it comes in this set. I think that's pretty cool. So now let's get into the real interesting stuff, which is the vehicles. The first of which is the Dop Fighter. So I always like it when Robot Spirits does vehicles in their assortment, and this 8th MS Team style Dop Fighter is really cool looking. We got the Dop Fighter in the MSiA line a long time ago. It was released in both North America and Japan, and it came with the Magella attack tank, the Logan fighter, and a Zaku, but it didn't look this nice. So it has effect part capabilities on the machine guns. You can see the missile pods sculpted in there. It is effect part compatible here on the top of the canopy for like an explosion effect, and for thruster effect parts. So one accessory it has is the wings. I think this one goes on this side, and this will just plug right in. I think, nope, I have it completely wrong. There we go. So you can put a broken wing on either side. It comes with one for each side, and it looks good. My only complaint would be maybe if they put a smoke trail or something off of it, would look a little bit better, but it looks good as is. I like the modular abilities here where you can do either wing. It's kind of a clean cut there, but looks nice. And then it also comes with landing gear, and so we'll get these out here. Just like some of the other aircraft that we get in the Robot Spirits line, they all tend to come with landing gear, which is nice. This one's no exception. And so we get two little rear wheels there and a front one. Of course, they don't actually move around, but they'll just plug in here. You remove these panels first, and these should just drop right in. There we go. And of course you want to be careful with them, just because you don't want anything to break on this fairly fragile plane here. So there we go. We have the landing gear and a broken wing. So pretty neat little set. And then moving on to our other vehicle here, the hover truck, which we had in the MSiA line. It came with the Easy 8, but this one looks way better. It actually has the antenna up there. The machine gun or Vulcan gun can actually pivot up and down, and the turret can move as well. It's painted really nice. It has the 8th MS Team on there. It has some green for the lights. The bottom looks good with the hover units, and it has a couple features as well. The first of which is this armor plate here that's on the front. It can come out and come downward, so it has a hinge here and then a hinge in the back, so it can move around a bit, which is nice. And then same with the back here, you have this little door that'll open up. You can take the cargo out, so you can have just an empty cargo bay, and then you have this little door that folds down as well, and this one pulls out. I don't know if you saw that, but it'll pull out and kind of connect to that inner ramp there, which is pretty neat. And then we have this piece. So this is the ground sonar, which just replaces that part there, and this is what was used to locate the Gouf Custom in the underground elevator, which is pretty cool. It swivels around, so I like that accessory. And then we also have the antenna, so that replaces this little piece here, which you want to be careful with, and you replace it with this, which you want to be even more careful with, and it'll make it quite tall. Looks really good, has all the antennas on it. And then we have a couple other little accessories here as well. These are more for recreating a particular scene in the anime where they kind of set up camp in the desert looking for the Opsilis. So there's a little bit of diorama pieces that you get here, one of which is a little table, which is pretty neat looking, all one piece, but it has little chairs with it. Then you get 3 little unpainted figurines here, if I can get them out. They make everything nice and difficult to actually get out. So this one is of Kiki. Gee, it's pretty tiny there. I mean, that's pretty remarkable sculpt. So we got that one, and then we have this one, which I think that one's Mikhail. If I can get it in focus there. So it's again, it's really tiny, so it's in scale with the figures. And there we have Shiro. So all really small. And then we have a little a canopy that attaches to the side of the hover truck like that. And of course you want to be careful with the legs of the canopy. So looks really nice there. I like the hover truck. If I had to speak on any improvement, I would like to have seen an alternate turret with an actual person behind the gun manning it. I think that would have been pretty cool. Otherwise, this is amazing looking. I mean, it's full of detail. You know, the door sculpted in there. The removable cargo is nice. So I mean, it's a really nice looking figure here, and it does a lot more than I expected it to. So here we have the hover truck, as well as the canopy, the table, the figurines, and the deployed antenna. I went ahead and posed it with the Ground Gundam Desert Spec and the Ground GM, kind of making it look like they're setting up an outpost. And you know, it's really easy to pose with, especially when you have these little details down here. I think it makes it look really nice. You know, the hover truck looks fantastic. It's sculpted really well. It's miles ahead of the MSiA version, which looked good for the time that it came out, but this is definitely a well-needed update, and you know, it pairs really well with the figures. So in this little battle scene, we have the hover truck using the ground sonar, the dot fighter getting its wing cut off, and using the firing effects and thruster effects from other figures. We have Karen's GM head Ground Gundam and the armored shield, and then Sanders' Ground Gundam with the V-fin and the armored shield as well. So again, really fun to pose. This missile launcher is an absolute pain in the rear to pose with, but it looks nice once you kind of get it settled. You know, there's a lot you can do with the dot fighter. The hover truck's pretty static. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do with it in terms of action poses, but it does look good sitting there. And of course the Ground Gundams are absolutely amazing. So overall, really happy with this option part set. So this second option part set is way better than the first. You know, the first one was plagued with a fragile missile launcher, effect parts that weighed down the weapons and made them nearly unposable. You can see I posed with the rocket launcher there, but it took a lot of work to get him to actually stand with it and hold it in place. You know, there was a lot going on in that first set that I didn't like. This set, however, everything tends to work really well. You know, all the parts for the Ground Gundams work fine. The GM head is a bit loose, but that's probably just mine. It's probably just a quality control issue. You know, the hover truck comes with quite a bit of accessories, way more than I expected. The little mini figurines is a nice touch. You know, the dot fighter has all these effect part capabilities here. The landing gear is cool. I mean, there's just a lot that comes in this set that's really nice to have. So for about $37 and change, which is what I paid for this. I think it's worth it if you're going to utilize the entire set. If you're not somebody who takes your stuff out of the box and poses with them, this probably isn't going to be worth it. But if you're up for making dioramas or displays, battle scenes, I think this set is pretty crucial, especially with the Gouf Custom and EZ8 coming out. If you want to recreate that battle scene, you're going to need this set. So thank you for watching the review. Let me know what you thought of the set, and if you ended up picking it up. And you can check out all the reviews below for the Ground Gundam, the Desert Spec, the GM ground type, and the first option part set. I'm trying to remember them all. So you can check out all those down below if you haven't watched them already. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.